And now I'm going to do a square root, square root. So sine of theta equals 5 over the square root of 34. Oh, and it's in quadrant 2, so what does that mean? Is sine positive or negative in quadrant 2? Do you know how to tell? Okay. Okay. And I still have to rationalize the denominator, so I'm going to get rid of that square root of 34 on the top and the bottom. Which means that my final answer is sine of theta equals 5 times the square root of 34 over 34. Did anybody get it right? Nice. What did you do?
We don't know what we rationalize.
Did you rationalize it back up at the top with the cosine?
How do you do that?
So if you rationalize it up here, then you would have, had 3 times So it would have been 3 times the square root of 34 over 34, correct? For your cosine. And then if you did sine squared theta equals 1 minus negative 3 square roots of 34 over 34 squared. That would have been sine squared theta equals 1 minus 9 times 34 over 34 squared. And then you would have canceled out a 34 on the top and the bottom. And ended back with the 1 minus, so this is 1 minus 9 over 34, which is literally right where we were here. Same thing. So if you rationalize it in the middle, it,
You have to rationalize at the end, right? Because it can't be square root on the
right, at the end. Okay. We're gonna do one more problem, and then we're gonna stop. The last problem we're gonna do, so far I had you figure out what? Tangent, sine. Are you confident in your ability to find out any of the 6? Like you've got now tangent, sine, and what did we start with? We started with tangent. Secant, sine, flip stuff. You'll get it, right? Okay. All right. Example 3, or I guess example 1C. This time I want you to find the cotangent of negative theta. And I want to do it with you. Okay, now hopefully when you look at this, the first thing you think of is we just wrote on the back of our unit circle a whole bunch of those negative things, right? And if you look here, you can see that cotangent of negative theta is the same thing as negative times the cotangent of theta. So if we just figure out what the cotangent of theta is and put a negative in front of it, we'll have it. Okay, how do we find the cotangent right now? Huh? Sure, you could take cosine over sine. So one way to do it would be to take cosine of theta over sine of theta. We already have cosine, and we already have sine, right? We know what cosine is, we know what sine is. This is one way to do it. You could take this divided by this. Let's do it that way. Negative 3 over the square root of 34 divided by 5 times the square root of 34 over 34 equals. All right. So if I am dividing fractions, what can I change that into? Multiplying what? Right, so this would be 34 over 5 times the square root of 34. What's the square root of 34 times the square root of 34? Just 34. So this is negative 3 times 34 on top, and on the bottom is 5 times 34. And I can just cross off those 34s, and I end up with cotangent of theta equaling negative 3/5. But I don't want to know what the cotangent of theta is. I want to know what the cotangent of negative theta is. And according to our rules, it says that all we have to do is find cotangent and then put a negative in front of it. But there's already a negative in front of it, so what is that gonna do to it? Make it positive. So the answer to cotangent of negative theta is 3/5. Anybody see a faster way to do this problem? Yeah.
You flip it, flip tangent.
Yeah, you could have just flipped tangent. Everybody look. Tangent from the beginning, do you remember how tangent was negative 5/3? If you just flip it upside down, it's negative 3/5. And then put a negative on there, but, I mean, cotangent is cosine divided by sine. That is also correct. So I kind of wanted to do it in all ways, because why not? Okay, your homework is page.
I have a question.
Yes.
How did you get the non-negative number?
Because according to our unit circle, it says that the cotangent of a negative angle is equal to negative cotangent of that angle. So I just put a negative out front, which cancels, a negative negative cancels out. All right, your homework is page 658. Numbers 11, 13, 15, 21, and 53 through 75 odds. Okay, now if I look at this assignment, since I've got so many people gone, 21, yeah, you can do these first 4 today, and then leave the rest. And then this whole assignment will be due on Thursday, okay? And tomorrow we'll work on the rest and figure out how to do those, which actually I think is a lot easier than what you're doing right now.
You said we're doing the easiest.
Huh?
We have to figure out all 6 of them. and-
No.
So it's gonna be easier for all of them?
This is shorter, I guess. I think this stuff tomorrow is easier personally for me, but I've seen kids struggle with it, so. This one's more straightforward. Okay. Can everybody look at page 658 for me really quick? I want to explain the directions because I very much anticipate that like 4 of you are going to do like 5 times more work than you have to and then get mad at me for no reason. Because you are teenagers and the directions are at the top of the page and I do not trust you to read the top of the page. Do you trust you to read the top of the page? No. Okay. The questions are what? 11, 13, 15, and 21, right? Okay, let's look at 11. 11 says cosine equals 3/4 and the angle's in quadrant 1. I just got asked by Wyatt if you have to find all 6. Do you see on the directions right here, and there's gonna be somebody, and I don't know who it is. I really don't think it's gonna be Wyatt because I'm calling him out right now. Although I kind of want it to be just for comedy's sake. It says find sine. You just have to find sine on all 4 of these. Only sine. If you find all 6, that is on you. Everybody get it? You're gonna be like, these 4 are forever problems. And I'll be like, they are not. They're not. Don't find all of them. Okay, so number 11, cosine is 3/4. Theta is in quadrant 1. Number 13, it gives you cotangent instead, and 15, it gives you opposite cosine. Anyway, okay, you've got 35 minutes to do 4 fairly quick problems as long as you're not finding all 6.